Je suis ravi de vous retrouver pour cette seconde interview de la série des interviews des managers africains que je rencontre sur le continent ou ailleurs. J'ai le plaisir de vous présenter Bernie Akporiaye, que j'ai rencontré il y a quelques années, il y a 6 ou 7 ans. Je l'avais aidé à l'époque à recruter pour un de ses projets. Et j'ai été convaincu quand je l'ai vu à l'époque que j'avais devant moi un manager, un entrepreneur exceptionnel, quelqu'un qui avait une vision de l'Afrique et quelqu'un qui était très attaché au développement également de ses collaborateurs. So, Bernie, tell us a little bit of you, who you are.
Thanks, Yann, and thanks for the opportunity to share with you what we do here at MaTontine. So, I was born in Nigeria and I grew up in the UK. And I spent most of my life in the UK and then moved to the US for about 4 years before I came back to Africa. And I always wanted to come back to Africa. And one of the reasons why I always wanted to come back to Africa was when my dad sent all of us abroad to go to school, he dreamt of us coming back to Africa and using those skills that we learned abroad to help develop our continent. And so I always had that at the back of my mind when I was studying, working in the UK, of how can I come back to Africa and be part of that solution to solve some of the really challenging problems we had. And especially when I was abroad, all you hear about Africa is negative. Poverty, sickness, war. And I knew that that was not the Africa that I grew up in. I knew there were amazing things happening in Africa. So I wanted to come back to be part of that solution of people who could help solve some of the very complex problems that we have in Africa. And so when I moved back to Africa about 4 years ago, about 8 years ago, I started up a company specializing in what my skill set was, which is software, financial software. And that I did that for about 4 years, and I realized that really was not my passion anymore. That's not how I felt I could contribute to Africa, especially as most of our clients were American companies. So I was solving problems, complex problems for Americans. So about 4 years ago, I stopped and I decided, to rethink about what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Okay. Your last project in the fintech, MaTontine, what is it about exactly, and how did the idea come to you? Well, you just explained it, but how is it set?
Yes. And I sat down and I wrote down my own personal mission. And my personal mission was to help alleviate poverty through technology and entrepreneurship. So it then became, what vehicle could I use to attain this personal mission? And around that time, I came across tontines. And tontines really fascinated me because I saw poor people coming together, putting a lot of money relative to their income into a savings group that they took turns sharing. And I realized that the default rate for tontines were almost zero, very, very, very low. So a light bulb went in my head to say, here is a financial tool that poor people have invented for themselves as Africans, but they were not getting the benefits of this really good financial behavior. Because the way a tontine works is I put in $100 throughout the year and I get exactly $100 back, right? But we know that if you show good financial behavior in Europe or America, you can use that good financial behavior to achieve better financial outcomes. So like I was saying, about 4 years ago when I came up with this personal mission, I began to notice the gardeners, the house help, the people on the street, all doing tontines. And then I asked them a question, why don't you just put the money in a bank? And they explained to me the way our complex lives are. Yeah. If I try to save throughout the year, there's always going to be emergencies.
Yeah. So and a reason to spend this money.
Reason to spend the money. And so I then realized there was a real opportunity to use this traditional African system to provide a much higher value range of services to the people. And that's how the idea of MaTontine came about.